There's 2 days left before Wuthering Waves launch. It's so hard to decide who you want to pull for. So in this video, I'm gonna make it just a little bit easier for you to decide by making a tier list. Alright, let's just get straight into this. So as you can see, we're gonna go all the way from SS to C tier. The reason why we're stopping at C tier is because all of these characters are good enough to make it to C tier. None of them is so bad that they would be below C tier. But yeah, other than that, just keep in mind all of this is based off of the limited amount of testing I could do during the beta. And for the characters that I didn't get to try out in the beta, I just searched them up, watched reviews on them, you know, and stuff like that. But yeah, let's get straight into this. First of all, we're going to start with Alto. He is a very fun character. I played him a lot in the beta, but his kit is very bad. You know, in C tier.
No.
His kit, compared to anyone on this list, is just horrendous. There's nothing special about him, or at least his kit. It's very mediocre. He's gonna go in C tier. Tiksha, I'm just gonna get her out of the way. I don't know anything about her.
What?
I just know that most people think she's a decent character. She could go in B or A tier. I'm gonna put her in B tier because I just don't know much about her. Moving on, Abaiji's gonna go in S, A tier, S, A tier, S, A tier. Oof. S or A. I'm gonna keep S tier for some other. Actually, I'm gonna put her in S tier. The reason I'm putting her in S tier, she's basically a 4-star Verena. She's gonna buff your characters, she's gonna heal your characters, and overall, when it comes to long-term viability, she's gonna be a good character because she's a buffer. Imagine you don't want Verena at all. You can get Baiji and she still does a decent job. Like, the difference between her and Verena is significant, I would say, but she is still a very good unit overall. And I don't think she's gonna get power crept soon with the 4 stars. So I would put her in S tier. She has very long-term viability, I guess. Moving on, next up we're gonna do Sanhua, who's gonna be an A tier character. The reason why Sanhua is A tier is because she's a very good character. She does a very good amount of damage. She is a little hard to play because you have to be good at timing her stuff. Her forte gauge, the way it works is that you have to time it, and she could be a little bit annoying or hard to play for people. But other than that, she's a pretty decent character. We can put her in A tier. Taochi is going to be a B tier character. The reason is her damage is well below Sanhua and the other people that are going to go here, and her kit is okay. I don't think it's anything crazy. It's an okay kit, and the only reason I'm putting her in B tier and not C tier is because she can make use of the rejuvenating glow, which is the healing echo set. Moving on, next up we are going to have Yuanwu. Yuanwu is going to be A tier. He has a good amount of damage. He's a good character overall. Nothing insanely special about him to go in S tier like Baiji, but his damage overall is good and he's a decent character. Pretty fun to play too. Rover, I know she's a 5-star, but we're gonna get Rover out of the way. S tier. The reason why I'm putting her in S tier and not A tier, or him, depends on who you pick, is because Rover is a good character. Rover is very balanced, does a decent amount of damage. You can do almost all the content with literally just using Rover from the start. You don't have to pull for 5 stars. You can do most of the content in the game with just Rover, and it wouldn't be insanely hard for you to do so. Overall, just a good character, good damage, solid build, solid everything about Rover. Moving on, Mortefi, S tier. The reason is Mortefi buffs heavy attacks. You know who else needs a heavy attack buff? Jian. Mortefi, Jian go so well together because of the fact that Mortefi can buff heavy attacks. And in the future, when we get more characters that rely on heavy attacks, Mortefi can buff them as well, giving him good long-term viability. Hence why putting him on S tier makes sense. Next up, Yang Yang. Oh, she's the last 4-star, A tier. Yang Yang is a very fun character and overall has good damage potential. You get her very early on, which means you can invest in her very early on, and she is just a good character overall. So we're gonna put her in A tier. Moving on, now comes the 5 stars. You may be wondering, hey, but Danjin is there. Well, yes, but she's a 5-star. She's not a 4-star. She's gonna go all the way at the top of this S tier list. The reason is her damage is insane. She is so good. If you don't want to get a 5-star DPS character, you would have to play her because, well, you don't have to play her, but you should play her because of how good her damage is. The only issue with her is she requires skill. Her kit will deplete your HP a lot, and because of that, you need to be actually good at like dodging, stuff like that. But if you're good at dodging and good at the game, her potential is insane. Her damage potential is higher than even some 5 stars. She's overall just an insane character. Moving on. Next up, we're gonna get Jian out of the way because he's gonna be the limited 5-star banner, and you know most people are gonna want him. He's a SS tier. Woo! His damage is just insane. Like I couldn't possibly put him anywhere below this because of how good his damage is. He's insanely OP because of his damage, and overall just an insanely fun character to play at the same time. SS tier character. Also, like I said, Mortify can also buff him, which is pretty nice. Mortify. I don't know how you said that. Mortify. But he can buff Jian. Next up, Jian Shin. I'm going to put her in A tier. She is a very niche character, I think. I played her in the beta. I did not enjoy her that much because her main thing is her shield. She's a shielding character. In this game, you barely ever need a shield. Yeah, it's helpful. Yeah, sure, you can take some more hits, but you don't need it. Trust me, when you play the game, you don't need her shield. She's a niche character that's still decent at doing some damage while also giving you a shield. Hence why she goes in A tier, probably before Yuandu, after Sunhua. This guy, B tier. I would put him in A tier if he wasn't a 5-star. His damage is very low for a 5-star, and that's what is about him. He's about damage, and his damage is low. For a 5-star, it's low. I can't possibly put him anywhere above B. He's gonna go in B tier. Kulchar is gonna go S tier before all of them. His damage is really good, unlike this guy. His damage, unlike Gaming or Lingang, his Kulchar has very good damage. His kit is very solid. He's insanely fun to play. And with Jinlin, his damage is even crazier because of how good their synergy is. Hence why Kulchara goes in S tier. Now that we brought up Jinlin, may as well put her in her place, which is SS. She's an insane character. She buffs Electro. Her damage is good. Overall, just an insanely good character. The reason I'm putting her before Jian is because she has more future viability. Because Jian is a DPS character, like fully DPS. And he's patch 1.0 character. He's gonna get power capped. At least at one point, he's gonna get power capped. Might not be very soon, but he will get power capped because he's mostly a DPS character. While she also buffs and she's a sub DPS, so her viability or her longevity is more likely to be longer than, or more long term than Jian. Verena, SS tier, the best character in this entire game. Her kit is just insane. She is so OP. Her kit is off the charts. She can buff, she can heal, she can do anything you want her to do. She's just too good. I literally couldn't put her anywhere below SS. If I had a tier above SS tier, I would put her there. That's how good she is. She's too good. Encore S tier, just right after Kulchara. The reason why I'm putting Encore after Kulchara is, unlike Kulchara, who can synergize with people, Encore can't. She doesn't have a lot of synergy with most of these characters right now, but her damage is very good. She's a very good DPS, and everything about her is very solid. I mean, the main thing about her is her damage, which is very good. So yeah, I would put her in S tier as well. But yeah, I hope this video was helpful to you in some way. Hopefully it helped you decide who you want to pull for. If you were hoping to pull for Alta, maybe it made you finally see that behind all that amazing looks and amazing gameplay, he's just a shit character. But anyways, hopefully this video helped you in some way. If it did, leave a like. I would really appreciate it. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.